The way bad actors work, it's not like they gain access and then they execute right away. They're waiting, they're holding, and yeah, they're either waiting for people to maybe not be paying attention as much, or they're waiting for a vulnerability when a system could be compromised during a maintenance window or an upgrade or part of a development or test.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Incident Report presented by Quest Technology Management. I'm Paul Burke, Director of Technology Communications. Every week, I'm joined by VP of Sales and Partnerships, Adam Burke. The Incident Report brings you conversations with thought leaders, business innovators, and channel mavericks to help you stay productive and agile in a changing technology landscape. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Incident Report. This is episode 22. I'm half your hosts. My name is Paul Burke. Over there, Adam, how you doing?
Good, Paul. Excited to be here on 7-Eleven. I hope everyone gets their Slurpee. That is my official dad joke for the day. I've been rocking it all day on all my conference calls. 7-Eleven, get your Slurpee.
Coincidentally, we've lost a ton of business today.
Yep. Coincidentally, no one likes dad jokes, so I'm gonna retire that one pretty quickly.
So we had a week off. How was your 4th of July break?
It was great. Spent some time with family. Got up to the mountains in some cooler weather. It was good. Do you have a good 4th?
It was mellow. It was us hanging out with our cats who were terrified of all the fireworks. I live in an area where people just laugh at laws. They're not supposed to launch illegal fireworks, but I sent the drone up and it looked like a war zone, the amount of explosions in the air. So that's where I live.
That's nice. I had some friends who had some local police departments sending over their drone as well and documenting some of their activity. It was interesting to see the eye in the sky. There are drones and different law enforcement out there checking things out as well.
I just did it out of curiosity because there were so many explosions. I was like, this can't be real. So I sent it up and it's like, wow, this is wild. So happy belated 4th of July, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adam, we have a lot of stories to get to, so let's dive in. Our first one comes from wire19.com. All links in the description if you want to read the articles. Microsoft NCE renewal deadline delayed beyond July 11th. Although Microsoft has previously announced the legacy commercial seat-based subscriptions would no longer be auto-renewed on the legacy platform from July 11th, it has released a new statement saying that it will continue to support the legacy auto-renewal functionality beyond July 11th, 2022. Microsoft has said that the indefinite delay in the deadline is a business decision. Adam? They're making business decisions over there.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that they made this move. It was a bit of a shock when they were going to the new commerce platform and a lot of CSP partners. And so for folks who don't know, cloud solution provider, the CSP subscription is a way that managed service providers work through distribution or directly with Microsoft to provide subscription-based licensing to customers. So this is for things like for Exchange, for Teams, for Microsoft Dynamics, for basically everything that you can subscribe to from the Microsoft suite when they made a transition to cloud-based services. And we talked about this when the news came out that they were shifting to the new commerce experience. The new commerce platform was basically the idea that they were going to be adding more benefits for partners, but also moving away from the month-to-month renewal process and move more to a annual contract value. They were moving a lot of people to, hey, it's great if you want 100 E3s or M3s or ME5s or whatever license bundle you worked out. They were kind of transitioning away from the idea that you could have month-to-month commitments to Microsoft. They were looking for more of an annual commit. And they kind of gave everyone about 6 months. Came out last October. I think we talked about it. Then it came out hard and fast in January regarding, you basically got 6 months to get off of this platform and onto the NCE platform. But I don't think a lot of people did. And I don't think a lot of people, well, actually a lot of people did, but I don't think as many people as Microsoft was hoping went for it. There's also a pretty significant increase in the cost of your licensing if you stay on the CSP platform. So in some instances, as much as 40% increase. So we'll see how long it takes for people to shift. But yeah, it's a pretty significant delay in the Microsoft world from transferring people, onto the NCE platform.
So, to quote Microsoft, they say Microsoft has seen an acceleration of partners migrating legacy cloud solution provider subscriptions to the new commerce platform in recent weeks. We appreciate the efforts of partners that have contributed to the acceleration, and all CSP partners are encouraged to complete migrations from legacy to new commerce as soon as possible. Why do you think they're kind of saying, let's not push everybody quite yet to this? Do you think it has to do with the economy? Do you think it has to do with inflation? Am I just trying to sound smart, but I don't really know anything? Adam, help me out.
I appreciate the SAT words, and that's always impressive. But no, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of things that are coming to play here. How people are consuming these services, how partners are making money selling Microsoft, right? So what are the economics of making this transition? Who's helping their clients get through that, and really who's advocating for it? So Microsoft has a lot of incentive knobs to turn here as far as motivating the end users and the consumers with the pricing changes, as well as the providers, the CSPs of the world. They have the option as well, and there's motivation for them from a rebate standpoint and from a cost of doing business standpoint with Microsoft that are available as well. So it'll be interesting to see how long this takes. I don't know if it was a boil the frog slowly attempt, that maybe they thought they could get it done in 6 months and it's really an 8-month concept, or they thought they'd get it done in 2 quarters, but it's really a 4-quarter endeavor. But we'll see. This was pretty significant news that came out recently.
Yeah, because if I'm correct, I mean, I'm reading this article that they're not saying when they say they're delaying it beyond July 11th, but they're not saying, hey, this is the new date. They're not even putting a date on it, correct?
Correct. Yeah, they're not putting a date on it, and sometimes publicly traded companies will slip things in like before a holiday. So if you notice, this kind of came out on Friday, July 1st, and we were just talking about the 4th of July. It was on Monday. So not quite sure how many people were sitting around paying attention to their Microsoft announcements on the Friday before a 4-day weekend. But usually if it's something, a firm wants you to pay attention to, they're not going to drop it on Friday dirty laundry list, before a 4-day weekend.
Good point.
Yeah.
Up next, an article from the Channel Co. Or what does CRN stand for, Adam? Help me out here.
The Channel Company.
Why would CRN stand for the Channel Company? Do they know how to spell company?
I just read the articles. Channel Company, CRN. Just go to the top of the article. CRN, the Channel Company, It's got 40 years. They're celebrating 40 years. They're an established entity. Who are you to judge?
Adam, you'll be excited to know I found out some information. CRN was launched as Computer Retail News, covering the early days of the business side of the PC revolution. That's why it's CRN.com. And now, on to the story. Datto founder Austin McChord blasts Kaseya for post-acquisition changes. This sucks. That's not me saying that. That's Austin. It feels like you just bought a leading football team and are in the process of breaking all the players' legs, wrote Datto founder and former CEO Austin McChord. This is not a winning strategy. It will hurt the entire MSP industry. So he's pretty furious, Adam.
Yeah. I mean, his comments are pretty subtle and not too direct, which is always, you gotta kind of parse the language there to really understand what Austin's saying. But yeah, no, he's fired up. Definitely, seeing what's happening to his organization. He was the founder of the company. What's going on after the $6 billion acquisition from Kaseya.
So Kaseya acquired them for $6.2 billion. McChord was on the board that approved it, and now he's frustrated.
Yeah, he's calling out some cultural shifts, right, that are happening at the firm. They got acquired for $6.2 billion. Not quite sure exactly how that valuation, worked out, but he was involved since 2007. He basically started the company, and then as it ramped up, Datto's a pretty significant player in the MSP market, right? So they do a lot of different things, from monitoring, alerting, backups, endpoint services, and things like that. So they're embedded in the MSP market. McChord's fired up about changes to the 401k plan, adjustments to the maternity leave, reduction of PTO.
McChord noted that prior to the acquisition, Datto posted its best quarter ever and was accelerating while generating meaningful returns to the bottom line. To make this happen, it took a team of 2,200 plus diverse, committed, and brilliant people around the world. This team and the culture that bonds them together is the secret of Datto's success. More than any price point or technology, losing this team will spell certain demise for business long term.
It was definitely a software company with, a growth company. And now it's, not to play devil's advocate here, but you sold it to Kaseya. That's an operator, right? They don't necessarily care about the, sleep pods and the fluffy stuff. They're going to look at the bottom line. So I don't know why this would be a surprise too much, other than it seems like he's definitely voicing, his dissent of what's going on. But at the end of the day, they did sell out to a massive software conglomerate. And that's going to happen when someone writes a check for 6.2 billion. They're going to streamline some things. It's going to happen.
His statements are like the opposite of everything in Game of Thrones. Everything in Game of Thrones, very subtle politicking. He's very out in the open. Hey, this is how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's not a very Machiavellian court type scenario there, but yeah, he's definitely voicing his opinion, and I think that's important. I mean, we had actually, if you read down, a gentleman that we actually know, Jason Wright, who's the CEO of Avatar Computer Solutions out of Houston. Paul, we were talking about this, before we hopped on here. He's voicing his concerns as well.
Yeah, so he says, this confirms the worst fears of all Datto MSPs, and Kaseya is going to dilute the strong Datto channel culture, he said. I hope Kaseya reverses course in these changes, which may have been made in haste in the wake of Austin's comments. If Kaseya bungles this acquisition, it is going to harm them more than anyone else. I am sure they want this deal to be successful. It is shocking to see McChord speak out like this. This is going to reverberate throughout the MSP community and have big long-term implications for Kaseya, Datto, and McChord.
Yeah, and I know Jason, and I think he's right here. Having a previous CEO, founder speak out this way post acquisition is really kind of unheard of in the market. You don't see that very often. You kind of see the nice, everyone's kind of, well, I won't use that term. They're grinning at each other and smiling and then kind of talking through their teeth. But you don't necessarily see, behind the castle walls much. But this is definitely out there for the whole world to see.
And Adam, what are your thoughts about this being a clickbait issue? Because David Stinner of iTech in Buffalo says, Austin McChord is riling up MSPs when there's no story here. This is clickbait. The true story is in the integration and improvements that are going to happen with the two MSP companies being combined. It is unfair to criticize changes that need to be made because of the increased debt service by a higher than necessary negotiated price that Kaseya incurred when all other buyers backed out.
That very well could be. They also reference, Thoma Bravo in here regarding, their ConnectWise acquisition and reduction of benefits. It's a maturation process. We see it all the time in the channel. Companies ramp up, they're in growth mode. You got stock options, money's flying around, people are getting sweet deals, all this kind of stuff. And then they mature and they go from a growth company to, more of a utility. As long as an organization continues to perform and integrate and execute, the nice to haves and the nice channel culture, as they were saying it, at the end of the day, is it really going to affect the bottom line? I don't know. David over at iTech in Buffalo could be right. If it was just technology we were dealing with, it'd be simple, but it's not. You got egos, you got opinions, you have founders, you got money involved.
It sounds really complicated.
It can be complicated. Who knows how it's going to sort out? I think people in the MSP community are, their main concern is are they going to continue to innovate? Are they going to continue to update? Are they going to continue to keep pace? Or if they come in and their first move is to gut a company from benefits and their culture, is that signifying, hey, we're just running this as a revenue play. We're going to bleed out our contracts and, roll up revenues and just keep the money press going as long as we can and bleed this thing out. You don't know what they're going to do. So but if they signal, the first thing they do is they come in and they, bring a hatchet man. Well, that could signal some concerns. And then MSPs have to make a decision, right? Do I stick with this platform or do I go a different direction? Everyone's got to make decisions. Sometimes people, grasping their pearls and being shocked that private equity and venture capital and acquisitions are brutal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the natural order of things. It's brutal. So don't pretend. It's pretty brutal out there.
That's a great point. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to find out, and don't be shocked. Finally, up next, security news. SHI Cyberattack. The vast majority of systems are now fully operational.
Yeah, this one came in over the holiday weekend as well. And this is, SHI is a massive, $12 billion IT solution provider. And this just kind of goes to show even those who are helping organizations select the best technology and the best platforms and things like that, they can get hit as well. Now, I was happy to see they identified the threat pretty quickly. They took down systems that they needed to in order to remediate, what happened. And according to this article, it doesn't look like that there's any evidence that any data was exfiltrated from a customer standpoint. That was a statement made in here. So it's ugly that these kind of things can happen, but it looks like they had the controls in place that identified the threat, and then they had to basically deal with it. I feel bad for the folks who were over the 4th of July holiday weekend called in probably halfway through a barbecue, but it does happen. It is something that every firm has to deal with, whether it's a small mom and pop or a large global $12 billion IT solution provider.
Customers can now log into their accounts on shi.com. Enhanced security protocols are in place and can resume placing and tracking orders. So Adam, I'm kind of curious, why do ransomware issues tend to crop up during holidays, long weekends? What's going on there? Do people have their guards down during holidays and long weekends?
It could be also during those times, maintenance is conducted. Sometimes when people are going to be off, system updates are executed, or it could be a scheduled maintenance window. Sometimes malware is only detected when you make a change, when you do something different. There are different triggers in place in instances here. The way bad actors work, it's not like they gain access and then they execute right away. They're waiting, they're holding, and they're either waiting for people to maybe not be paying attention as much, or they're waiting for a vulnerability when a system could be compromised during a maintenance window or an upgrade or part of a development or test. You and I were talking about another good article on HackRead over there around, the BRC4 and how hackers use that to evade detection. That's something we probably want to maybe revisit when we have, someone smarter than you or me on the call when it comes to around specific, how they're specifically using that to evade detection. But, we're seeing people upgrade how they're exploiting vulnerabilities all the time. And I think it'd be great for our listeners to check that article out as well, around how Russian hackers are using BRC4, penetration tool to kind of evade detection. It's a pretty cool article. It gets a little wonky as far as the technicals, but definitely worth a read.
You're going to learn some new words. I definitely did. I don't understand everything I read, but I will include the link in the description as well. So So Adam, hey, thanks for joining us today. And anything going on this week? Anything exciting coming up on the weekend?
Nothing too crazy. I'm back in the Phoenix Scottsdale area. So and the current temperature is surface of the sun, which is great. So I'm hiding inside these days until things cool back off a little bit. But nope, just enjoying the summer. And how about you? Anything interesting coming up?
I'm in the same boat, just trying to stay cool. It is so hot today, so just enjoying the air conditioning, and I hope if you're listening, you're enjoying air conditioning too. We will see you next week. This is the Incident Report. Adam, have a great week.
Thanks, Paul. You as well.
Thanks so much for listening. The Incident Report is brought to you by Quest Technology Management. With over 40 years of experience, Quest is a leading technology integrator working seamlessly with your staff and systems to achieve your IT goals. Learn more about everything they do at questsys.com. And if you have questions or suggestions for the podcast, you can always email Adam and myself at theincidentreport@questsys.com. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.